Okay, so now Charlie will describe how he entered the Grand Central Station and how he could discover the third level. As I told you yesterday, the third level in reality does not exist. Okay, it is the figment of his imagination. Okay, that he has traveled in the third level. And as I told you yesterday, the third level is an imaginary level in the Grand Central Station for Charlie. His present is very unpleasant, full of stress and anxiety. Therefore, he wanted to get rid of that unpleasant present by escaping to the past. That is the third level. Okay. So let's see how he entered Grand Central. Okay. Anyway, here is what happened at Grand Central. One night last summer, I worked late at the office. See how he has entered the Grand Central. He worked late at the office. I was in a hurry to get uptown to my apartment, so I decided to take the subway from Grand Central because it's faster than the bus. Okay, so as there is no traffic there, subway, therefore he decided to take the Grand Central subway. Okay, and this is how his journey into the third level will gradually start. Okay, ओमकार इधर आओ ना, यहाँ से क्या देख रहे हो तुम? तो पढ़ो ना, you see. मस्ती मत करो. See, now I don't know why this should have happened to me. He is not aware of the fact how it happened. Okay, but he said, I'm just an ordinary guy named Charlie. He's giving a bit of introduction about himself. He says, I'm an ordinary guy named Charlie, 31 years old, and I was wearing a tan gabardine suit and a straw hat with a fancy band. His physical appearance. Then I passed a dozen men who looked just like me, and I wasn't trying to escape from anything. I just wanted to get home to Louisa, my wife. So he hasn't yet entered the third level of the Grand Central Station. He is still in the first level, okay, first floor you can say. So when he is in the first floor of the Grand Central Station, he is in the midst of the modern man. Okay, so he looks the same as them, no difference. Difference will come only when he will enter the third level. Now you see, so basically, what is his purpose? What was his purpose of entering the Grand Central Railway Station? His purpose was to get home quickly, because by bus it would take time. Okay, that is why, in order to avoid the rush of the traffic, in order to save his time, he wanted to take the subway to his home. Now, see, I turned into Grand Central from Vanderbilt Avenue and went down the steps to the first level. So first he entered the first level, Akanksha. First he entered the first level. Then, see, first level, what do you find in first level? Where you take trains like the 20th century. Okay, the 20th century trains are available in the first level, because first level is modern, okay, modern day platform. Okay, it is the same as the modern day. That is why he did not find himself different. Okay, now then I walked down another flight to the second level where the suburban trains leave from. Then he walked down to another level, that is the second level, from where suburban trains leave. Suburban means like for the remote places, okay, for villages and all that. So if you visit the big railway stations, especially abroad, you'll find that they have multi-state railway stations. Okay, so first layer or first level is for the intercity connection. Second level is for the suburb ones. Okay, suburb ones means from city to a village you are going, or to an interior place you are going. So that is suburban station. So in the second level, suburban suburban station. Okay, in the second level, then he ducked into an arched doorway. He ducked into an arched doorway. See, from the second level, he's going further down. Arched doorway, heading for the subway, and got lost. As soon as he entered another level, that is arched doorway, he got lost because it was quite unfamiliar for him. Entire level was unfamiliar for him. That is why he got lost. He's saying, that's easy to do. I have been in and out of Grand Central hundreds of times, but I'm always bumping into new doorways and stairs and corridors. Once I got into a tunnel about a mile long and came out in the lobby of the Roosevelt Hotel. Another time I came up in an office building on 46th Street, 3 blocks away. Because subways, normally what happens now, they are very confusing, okay? So he, like in India, you will find in Howrah railway station in Kolkata, okay? There are also urban subway is there, okay? Is there. So there also it's very confusing, okay? Like, so he said that I could not get out from the subway on any occasion from the correct exit. Okay. Next he says, sometimes I think Grand Central is growing like a tree. As he got confused and as he bumped into some other route, as he lost his way, so he says that I think Grand Central is growing like a tree, pushing out new corridors and staircases like roots. Why is he saying that? Because every time he is getting into the subway, he is getting lost, he is getting confused. That is why he has made such a remark. Okay. Next you see. Now you'll see he will gradually enter the subway, third level. Okay, from the second level, gradually now he will be entering, gradually he will be entering now in the third level. Okay, to see how he enters. There's probably a long tunnel that nobody knows about, filling its way under the city right now, on its way to Times Square and maybe another to Central Park. And maybe because for so many people through the years, Grand Central has been an exit, a way of escape. Maybe that's how the tunnel I got into, but I never told my psychiatrist friend about that idea. Means he entered in Grand Central, there is a tunnel, he said. Okay, there is a tunnel. Very few people know about this tunnel, and he has discovered that tunnel, and he is saying it is an exit way, a way of escape for many people. Okay, and then the corridor I was in began angling left and slanting downward, and I thought that was wrong, but I kept on walking. All I could hear was the empty sound of my own footsteps, because on that level there was no human being. It was all deserted in the third level. Now he is reaching the third level. Okay, on that, yes, underground only. On that ground, okay, so it's a subway, na? Okay, so third level, see, underground, and then another level is there. Okay, okay, so there, yes, yes, very good. So how many floors down is not set, but might be one floor down only, because from from the basement he has gone another floor down. Okay, so it is in his mind's eye actually. Okay, like there is no such third level exists. Okay, no such third level exists. It's all in his imagination. It's a way of escaping into the past to forget the unpleasant reality of the present. Okay, now he says, but I saw the room was smaller, there were fewer ticket windows and train gates, and the information booth in the center was wood and old looking. And the man in the booth wore a green eye shade and long black sleeve protectors. Everything, the ticket doors, the rooms were smaller, even the human beings had different get up. Okay, because here you'll find the third level is a description of the ancient days, like of the 19th century. So you must have seen on television, in movies also, like 19th century, 19th century setup of the shops, streets. Okay, even the costume the people used to wear, everything is was different than what people wear now. Yeah, and there were fewer vehicles on the road. The structure of the vehicles were also old fashioned. Okay, and even the locomotives, like the trains, were also structurally different from what they are now. So he says everything he could discover was different. The room was smaller, fewer ticket windows, train gates, and the information booth in the center was wood and old looking. And the man in the booth wore a green eye shade and long black sleeve protectors. The lights were dim and sort of flickering. Then, then I saw why. They were open flame gas lights where they are open flamed. Okay. Now you see, gas lights means gas burner, no? So open flamed actually. Okay, structurally different. There were brass spittoons. Spittoons means like dustbins, what we call nowadays dustbin. Okay, made of brass. There were brass spittoons on the floor, and across the station, a glint of light caught my eye. A man was pulling a gold watch from his vest pocket. He snapped open the cover, glanced at his watch, and frowned. He wore a derby hat, a black four-button suit with tiny lapels, and he had a big black handlebar mustache. Okay, means he's now describing about a person what he was doing. Okay, he wore a derby hat, old-fashioned hat, a black four-button suit with tiny lapels, and he had a big black handlebar mustache. Different types of mustache, kind of hat actually. You can see on the Google image different types of hat actually. Okay, like when it comes to jacket, or you can say cardigan. Okay, they are also they're called differently in different names. So we can see the structure on Google image. You can type derby hat, you will find. Okay, okay, so let me first teach you, finish, and then I'll show you. Okay, next you see a black four button suit with tiny lapels, and he had a big black handlebar mustache. Then I looked around and saw that everyone in the station was dressed like 1890 something. I never saw so many beards, sideburns. Sideburns means here mustache, beard grow. So that type of beard is called sideburns. Okay. So in beard also different types of beards are there. Mustache different types. They are called different. They are called by different names. Okay. So that we can even explore on Google image. Okay, let me just finish this paragraph, I'll show you. Okay, then I look, see, I never saw so many beards, sideburns, fancy mustaches in my life. A woman walked in through the train gate. She wore a dress with leg of mutton slips, and skirts to the top of her high buttoned shoes. Back of her, out on the tracks, I caught a glimpse of a locomotive, means like a train, a very small courier and Eaves locomotive with a funnel shaped stack. And then I knew what he knew. He knew that he has reached the third level, and people owe 19th century dress. Okay, like for example,
Kindly discuss all the stories. I repeat, all the in charge teachers of Samagya kindly discuss the students.
okay, Then you see, to make sure, I walked over to a newsboy. Newsboy means newspaper boy. Okay. To make sure, I walked over to a newsboy and glanced at the stack of papers at his feet. It was the World, and the World hasn't been published for years. He could catch a glimpse of a newspaper called The World, which was discontinued many years back. But when he approached the newspaper boy, he could see on a stack of papers the World, the edition of the World newspaper is lying on the stack. And when he further browsed through it, he could see the date. It is there, June 11, 1894. Okay, so it is now obvious that he has already reached in his mind's eye the third level. Okay, the lead story said something about President Cleveland. I have found that from front page since in the public library files, and it was printed June 11. Now, now you see, he will turn to the ticket counter and how the person in charge in the ticket counter behaves. Okay, see, Pranujay, I turned toward the ticket counter. I turned towards the ticket windows, knowing that here on the third level at Grand Central, I could buy tickets that would take Louisa and me anywhere in the United States we wanted to go. In the year 1894, and I wanted two tickets to Galesburg, Illinois. He wanted to go to Galesburg, Illinois. We along with his wife, so he wanted to buy two tickets. But what happened? You see, have you ever been there? It's a wonderful town still, with big old frame houses, huge lawns, and tremendous trees whose branches met overhead and roof the streets. And in 1894, summer evenings were twice as long. Summer evenings were twice as long. And people sat out on their lawns. थप्पड़ मार के निकल दो ना यहाँ से, okay? मोटे, you idiot, don't talk. Get up from here. Get up from here. Go ahead. फेल करोगे idiots. So he is describing about Galesburg. He says that Galesburg of the 19th century, he said, it's a wonderful town with big old frames, huge lawns, tremendous trees whose branches meet overhead and roof the streets. If you ever see a film of the olden days, you will find that there are a lot of trees on either side of the roads, which are to some extent not visible nowadays, but in European countries still they maintain uh, this thing. But in India, it's a hard nowadays the trend is catching up, but you'll not find many. Okay, but if you see the picture or the film of the 19th century or the olden days, 1980s, 1970s, you'll find that like even in cities also there are a lot of trees full of nature. Okay, so Galesburg, Illinois, here what is so special? He said, uh, tree branches meet overhead like this, and roof the streets. And in 1894, summer evenings were twice as long, and people sat out on their lawns, the man smoking cigarettes and talking quietly. The women waving palm leaf fans, because might be there was no electricity, or because electricity came late. Okay, so people used to use palm leaf fans, the hand fans you might have seen. If you, yes, if you go to village, you'll see that where there is no electricity available, so they use palm leaf, okay, fans, hand fans. So with the fireflies all around, in a peaceful world, and that was a very peaceful world. To be back there with the First World War, still 20 years off, and World War II over 40 years in future. I wanted 2 tickets for Gales Park. So at that time, First World War was 20 years away. Second World War was 40, almost 40 years away at that time. Means it was in the 18 something, okay, 19th century. 19th century. Okay. Now you see, the clerk figured the fare. He glanced at my fancy headband, but he figured the fare, and I had enough for 2 coach tickets one way. But when I counted out the money and looked up, the clerk was staring at me. When he went to buy 2 tickets for Galesburg, the clerk at the ticket counter stared at him. Okay, looked at him and looked up and stared at him. Why? Because you see, when I counted out the money and looked up, the clerk was staring. He nodded at the bills. That ain't money, mister, he said. Means that is not the money that we accept, because you have to give me the olden day money, okay, old day, ancient days money. You are giving me the present day money. That is why he was not accepting the legal tender. It is no longer legal, because he is giving him the present day note or currency, okay, which he did not want. Okay, he wanted the old, because he has gone back, his mind has gone back to the past, so only the past currency would be accepted. Okay, so that is why that ain't money, mister. And if you are trying to skin means if you are trying to cheat me, okay, or be over smart with me, you won't get very far. This is how he has threatened him. And he glanced at the cash drawer beside him. Of course, the money was old style bills, half again as big as the money we use nowadays, and different looking. I turned away and got out fast. There's nothing nice about jail even in 1894. Nothing nice about jail means they are very cruel. That is why he became very scared, because the ticket collector might put him in jail. So he just ran away from the ticket counter. Okay, and that was that. I left the same way I came, I suppose. Next day during lunch hour, I drew $300 out of the bank, nearly all we had, and bought old style currency, because he was in the third level. He was in the 19th century, so he had to carry the old legal tender, okay, legal notes. That is why he has exchanged his uh, new money with the old style currency. You can buy old money at almost any coin dealers, but you have to pay a premium. Premium means kind of a commission charge. My $300 bought less than 200 in old style bills, but I didn't care. Eggs were 13 cents a dozen in 1894. In 1894, eggs were just 3 cents a dozen. So cents, do you understand? No? Like in US currency, 100 cents make $1. 100 cents make $1, right? So then he says, I have never again found the corridor that leads to the third level. And then might be he has lost the third level in his imagination or something. Okay, he said, after that I have never found corridor that leads to the third level at Grand Central Station, although I have tried often enough. Louisa was pretty worried when I told her all this, and I didn't want me to look for the third level anymore. And after a while, I stopped. I went back to my stumps, but now we are both looking every weekend, because now we have proof that the third level is still there. My friend Sam Winner disappeared. Nobody knew where, but I sort of suspected, because Sam's a city boy, and I used to tell him about Gales Park. I went to school there, and he always said he liked the sound of the place, and that's where he is all right in 1894. So when he described uh, what's his name? Charlie. Nee, Charlie described his friend about Gales Bar, about third level. So he too started thinking about Gales Bar. He too wanted to visit the Gales Bar of the past. This is how now whatever Charlie has experienced is being experienced by Sam, his psychiatrist friend now. Okay? Because one night, fussing with my stamp collection, I found, well, do you know what a first day cover is? First day cover, I explained to you yesterday what is a first day cover. Okay? Like when a stamp is issued on the first day, that stamp is pasted on the blank envelope and address is written, your self address is written there and posted. So the letter envelope will go to your address, and it is a method of collecting, method of keeping records of the launch of the stamp. But nowadays stamp and all doesn't have much of significance, especially when it comes to personal interactions. When it comes to official interaction, official communication, of course it is required, but even 20 years before, people used to write a lot of letters. Okay, and nowadays only for official communication letters are used with stamp, right? So ये देखो ज़्यादा आई थिंक ये देखो एकदम कम है, खत्म कर देते। Okay, so I've explained the first day cover. यहाँ से start करते देखो देखो now his psychiatrist friend Sam has also gone to the third level. See how means he has also experienced the past. That night among my oldest first day covers, I found one that shouldn't have been there. What did he find? What kind of first day cover he found? But there it was. It was there because someone had mailed it to my grandfather at his home. So just 5 minutes. Okay, that is what the address on the envelope said, and it had been there since July 1894. The postmark showed that. Yet I did not remember it at all. The stamp was a 6 cent. Don't talk. The stamp was a 6 cent. Dull brown with a picture of President Garfield. Naturally, when the envelope came to granted in the mall, it went right into the his collection and stayed there till I took it out and opened it. The paper inside wasn't blank, it read. एक envelope मिला था, किसको मिला है बताओ? Charlie को. And in the envelope, what is written? You see, he has got a old day stamp, old day stamp. Okay, and in the now you see in the inside the envelope he has got a letter. What it is written? See, Charlie. It is addressed to Charlie, means this is letter is written to Charlie. I got to wishing that you were right. That then I got to believing you were right. And Charlie, it's true. I found the third level. Even his friend, even his friend has now experienced the third level. I found the third level. I have been there here for 2 weeks, and right now down the street at the Delhi's, someone is playing a piano, and they are all out on the front porch singing, seeing Nelly home. And I am invited over for lemon day. Come on back, Charlie and Luisa. Keep looking till you find the third level. It's worth it, believe me. Now he has got a letter, and it's a present day letter. But why the stamp is given? Stamp is of old day. Why? Because Sam wanted to make him believe that, you see, I am sending it to you from the third level. Okay, from the third level. So as to give it an ancient look, he has put the stamp of the old days. The note is signed Sam. Means Sam has written this note to Charlie, and Sam said that I have also found the third level. So you and your wife Luisa can look for it. You will certainly find it. Or at the stamp and coin store I go to, I found out that Sam bought $800 worth of old style currency. that ought to set him up in a nice little hay feed and grain business. He always said that's what he really wished he could do, and he certainly can't go back to his old business, not in Galesburg, Illinois in 1894, his old business. Why Sam was my psychiatrist. Okay. Because see, the narrator, that is Charlie, along with his friend Sam, both were not happy with the present day world. That is why he also wanted to go back like his friend Charlie. And Sam, he also experienced the third level. Basically, what the writer meant to say was that both Charlie and Sam, who are the metaphors for the present, all present day men and women, so they wanted to go back to the past in their thought very often, so that they can live at least for some time in their imagination, okay, the past life. And they also like the past profession, like stamp collection, buying the stamps, okay, older stamps. This is why, because present day occupation, present day life was not very much and encouraging for them. That is why there is a tendency in their mind to go back to the past and enjoy the past. Yeah.